Kieran says, how much do Google Map citations with directions request embedded help with local SEO? I have no idea. So if you're talking about like those big elaborate my maps with that you see with all the pins, and then there's also driving directions and things like that. I don't know how effective that is anymore because I've not done any specific testing with it in a long time. Those big my maps that you see with those kind of like concentric rings of pins, it's on like Fiverr and Legit and things like that. You'll see tons of those kind of gigs. Those used to be incredibly effective many like 5, 6 years ago, maybe shit 9 years ago, back when we first launched RYS Academy and Google Drive Stacks training and stuff. My maps were like the cheat code. They really were. And you can still do some good stuff with my maps, but those kind of big concentric ring type of map things, those don't really produce much of an effect anymore, in my opinion. From some of my own testing, when I first started semantic links, I tested a lot with those actually. So that was about a little over 2 years ago, and I saw basically no movement from that at all. There's other things that you can do with maps that are more powerful, in my opinion. Um, Doing the driving direction stuff, again, I don't know because I work almost exclusively with service area businesses, and it didn't really make sense to do that with service area businesses because they're unpublished street addresses. Um, so I've not done a lot of testing with that. My assumption is that, and I would suspect that they're not nearly as valuable as they used to. Because guys, remember what we're in the SEO business, right? So we find something that works, or somebody finds something that works, and eventually somebody creates a training product out of it, and they sell that as an information product. And a bunch of other SEOs buy it, and then it gets leaked to the Black Hat forums, and then a bunch of other SEOs use it, even though they didn't buy it. And next thing you know, enough people know about it that Google closes that loophole or reduces any effectiveness of it, if that makes sense. And that's kind of the typical cycle of all methods in SEO. There are foundational things, foundational SEO principles that don't change, but things become less effective typically over time. And so that's why I'm saying, like, this is an older tactic. I don't know that it's whether it produces any kind of measurable effect right now or not, because I've not tested with it in forever, because I saw a significant waning effect from that kind of stuff several years ago. So I just got away from using it. But you can always certainly test with it, Kieran. I mean, remember that you can buy some of those gigs for very inexpensive. And so why not test it on something? Not a money site. Find a lead gen asset if you have any that you could test it on, or find a competitor that is not performing at all in maps anyways. Just some random business out there. It doesn't even have to be a competitor. Just some random business out there. Buy a gig, apply it, see if it makes any movement whatsoever. Right? Again, you can do that, guys. You can test these types of gigs or services on other GBPs that you have no management access to. They're not your client. You don't know them from John or anybody else, if that makes sense. But you can just find a business that's not performing at all in maps, and apply a gig or a service like that and monitor the results. Plug it into a local search grid tracker or something. See if it does any results. If it provides any results. If so, try to duplicate it on another one. If you can duplicate it or replicate that result from that product or service, then you can start to try to test applying it to lead gen assets and or client assets. But always test first, is what I'm saying. And again, like I said, guys, I just don't have any experience with that recently. When it stopped providing a measurable effect a few years ago, I just quit testing with it.